Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Hingham Municipal Light Plant Board, December 17th, 2024. This meeting is being held remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and all other applicable laws, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You're hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Is there anybody else who would like to record the meeting tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll just look at our agenda. Our first item on our agenda tonight is a public information session on the rate increase, which is coming to pass in January. We'll have a brief discussion on where we are in developing the light plant sustainability plan, and then approval of meeting minutes. I'll look at the financials and updates on capital projects coming up. So that's the agenda for tonight. So I want to welcome everybody to the public information session about the rate increase that we have coming up in January. Our purpose here tonight is to give a fairly comprehensive background on how we arrived at the place where we've been needing to raise our rates and what is going to be done with the funds that we raise with the rates. So I think we're ready to begin. Okay, if anybody online cannot see that, just let us know. But we'll begin. So welcome, and we'll begin with just a brief background of what is Hingham Light. We are public power. The light plant was founded in 1893 by Hingham citizens at town meeting, and it's an enterprise fund of the town of Hingham. But it is formed under a state statute, which also provides for considerable autonomy from the town. And the light plant has 30 employees who live in Hingham and in the South Shore nearby. The light board consists of 3 members, and this is the policy board for the light plant. Members serve a 3-year term. The board sets policy and rates for the light plant. And the board is here tonight. Myself, Laura Burns, I'm the chair. Tyler Harold and Mike Reeve are the members. And the final thing the light board does is hire a general manager. The general manager is here tonight, Tom Morahan, and he is in charge of running all the day-to-day operations. He's responsible for the purchase price and the quantity of power that we procure, and he's responsible for all decisions made to carry out our mission and the policies of the board. So the mission, you'll see here, consists of keeping rates reasonable, service quality high, and striving for environmentally sustainable operations, which includes a commitment to someday achieving 100% carbon-free energy for electricity. But that is a goal that is off in the future, because a lot of the elements that go into that depend on things happening in the grid that are out of our control. But that's a goal we strive for. So why are rates increasing? The general manager realized that we needed to do a rate study to look at our whole rate design and figure out what would be needed going forward. And I'll tell you the reasons why he felt that way. But rate design is extremely complicated and technical. And so we hired Utility Financial Services as consultants to help us design our rates, and they were crucial to our success. So you see here the 3 reasons why we found the need for raising rates. First, to address rising energy costs. Second, to pay for large capital projects. And third, to ensure our ability to service the system that we have and deliver reliable and affordable electricity, while at the same time preparing for events that are coming in the future. So let's look at the goals. The board set 5 goals for our rate design at the outset. And they were, we would hope that the rate design of our rates would be equitable. That is to say, that costs would be paid by those who incur them. That ideally it would also ensure revenue sufficiency, meaning just we need to bring in enough money to operate the light plant, and we need to be sure we can do that going forward. A new goal was to protect low-income customers. That is not something that the light plant had set as a goal previously. Hopefully we would like to align customer savings with utility savings. And the reason this is possible is because we are owned by the customers, effectively. The town of Hingham owns the light plant. When you are served by a utility that is for profit, when the utility has savings, it goes into the investors' pockets, not the ratepayers' pockets. But for us, as a public service organization, it's possible for us to actually set things up so that both the light plant, all the customers, and individual customers can save. So that's a goal as well. And finally, it would be nice if the rates are simple, feasible, and understandable. But we've learned that in the area of rate design, that's a difficult goal to achieve. So why are rates increasing? Very specifically, the main reason for the set of rate increases that we have had over the last 2 years and coming up is the Hingham Electrical Infrastructure and Reliability Project, which the light plant has been working on for some years now. This is a very large capital project that is going to increase the quality of the transmission lines that come from the grid to the town. And the purpose is to increase reliability and resilience and also to increase capacity. So there are two main pieces of this capital project. The first is a new underground transmission line from Weymouth and a new substation next to the existing substation for that transmission line to come into. So the cost has varied over time, and it will probably vary again. The projection has been as low as $60 million and as high as $110 million just a year ago. For a long time, the uncertainty was related to what the Eversource, the utility that we're connecting to, was going to charge us for building what's called the tap station, where the new underground line will tap into Eversource's grid. But we have that estimate now, so future cost changes will likely relate to the changing cost of goods and inflation and so forth. But $100 million is our projected cost right now. So in terms of reliability, why do we need this project? Currently, all of our power arrives in Hingham over 2 lines on one set of poles that comes down the red line right of way. And our incoming lines are vulnerable to natural disaster or even, God forbid, to damage by bad actors. If one set of poles carrying both of our transmission lines went down, we would have an all-town outage. And this vulnerability was actually brought to the attention of the advisory committee 20 years ago in 2004 when I was serving on it. I remember learning about it then. It was some time before it was decided to take steps to address it, but HMLP is acting on it now. So the new line will take a different route from Weymouth into town. It will be underground. And so the security provided by having one of our transmission lines underground will increase our reliability and resilience tremendously, and we will no longer be vulnerable to the same kind of natural disaster dangers that we currently are. But the project was originally planned to increase reliability, and it turns out that we expect to need the increased capacity that it represents to meet the future rise in demand from the electrification of heating and vehicle fueling over the next decades. While we're not seeing that increase yet, we know it's coming, so it's fortunate that we are addressing this reliability issue now, because waiting to address future capacity needs then would only increase the cost over time. So it's sort of a side effect that while we're addressing our resilience needs, we are going to be increasing our capacity to enable us to meet the projected growth in electrical demand over the next few decades. So planning for this project is a monumental task, and it's been going on for years with our consultants who are working on the design and the technical specifications. And here you can see sort of a timeline of our working with the community on this. Planning began in 2017. In 2021, we were bringing to town meeting the proposal for where the new substation would be sited. So there were 2 community meetings prior to town meeting at that time. The substation site was approved at town meeting in 2022, and that site is right next to our current substation site at the landfill. Then in 2022 to 2024, we had more than 10 meetings in Hingham and in Weymouth, because of course Weymouth population is impacted because there's going to be construction through their streets, which will be returned to their original condition when they're done, but obviously that has an impact on the population of Weymouth as well. So we've been meeting both with Hingham residents and Weymouth residents. And then this summer, the design was complete enough that we were able to bring it to a joint meeting with the Hingham Planning and Zoning Boards and ask for their approval of what we were planning. And after looking at the plans, the Planning and Zoning Boards went along with the design and issued a very standard set of conditions that we will meet when we're building it. And from there, on November 13th, the light plant went and filed with the state's Energy Facilities Siting Board, which is the agency that really has the permitting power over siting a thing like this. And this permitting process is expected to take 2 years. So here is the timeline on the rate study that we did and the planned rate increases, the main purpose of which is to pay for this project. In June of 2022, we began the rate study, and then in January through May of 2023, we met with Utility Financial Services several times to go over the results of the rate study and to address questions. And then in May of 2023, the board voted to approve the rate study's recommended rate increase, which the board thought was wise to split into 3 separate rate increases, so it didn't come all at once. The first 6% rate increase came in June of 2023. In February 2024, there was another 6% rate increase, and in January of 2025, there will be a third and final 6% rate increase, and these rate increases will be sufficient to cover the cost of this project. So it's going to be some time before this project is completed. As you can imagine, we can't even begin building it for probably around 2 years, but we do expect that the rate increases that we are incurring right now will be enough to cover the cost, and there will be no further rate increases needed. That is based on our current cost estimates, that's what it's looking like right now. So how do we do on our goals for rate design? You see the 3 check marks over on the right. We did ensure revenue sufficiency. We will be having enough revenue coming in to cover all our capital projects and our general operations. We hope that the rate increase is simple, feasible, and understandable because we have not made any changes in our way of assessing the rates. All we have done is simply raise the percentage price on some of the pieces of our bill. And a new aspect of what we did was we took steps to protect our low-income customers. A year ago, the Light Board created our income-adjusted rate, which is the first time that the light plant has had a rate that people who need help paying their bills can apply for. And it came into place as a 5% discount on some parts of the bill. And the way that people can qualify for the rate is by showing that they participate in some other income supporting programs, such as, for example, the town of Hingham's property tax rebates, or any state and federal program that gives them support because they are low income. And so we have a long list of programs that you can see on our website that if you qualify for one of those programs, you will qualify for our low income rate. And we decided that we would watch the uptake over the year and hopefully raise the size of the discount. And we have done that over the course of the year, and in our last meeting, we raised the discount to 15% of portions of the bill. So we're feeling good about this, and of course the goal is to get the word out so that the people who really need this help get it. But we feel proud of taking this first step for the light plant towards the ability to support our low-income customers. Now, the other two on the other side, we can flip these two goals. Equitable, the costs paid by those who incur them, or can we align customer savings with utility savings? These two goals are not really very easy to achieve under our current rate structure. One of the things that the board has been talking about, so this is a good time to kind of get this out into the public domain. It's not something that's happening right away, but we have been talking extensively about wanting to switch from the current rate system where customers pay the same dollar amount for every kilowatt hour of the day, no matter when they use that electricity, changing to a system called time of use rates, where people who use electricity during times when we buy the most expensive electricity will pay more. And if you use electricity during times when we buy the least expensive electricity, you'll pay much less. So our peak time is 5 to 7 p.m., and that is when our peak demand comes, and partly because it's the peak demand, that is when we are buying the most expensive electricity to meet demand. So if we wanted to make costs equitable and have costs paid by those who incur them, then it would make sense to charge more for electricity during the peak times and less for electricity at other times. So we wanted very much to move in this direction right away, but as it turns out, this project can't be accomplished with our current meters. So we would need to replace our meters in order to achieve this. So the proposal is still under discussion. We haven't made any decisions, but we are hopeful that sometime in the next few years, we would have the means to replace all the meters. But of course, with our current demands on our capital funds, we have other projects going on as well. So having a time of use rates would allow us to meet these other two goals that we set for our rate design. So let's take a look at how rates have gone over time. There are two pieces of our rate. One is the kilowatt hour price. In other words, every kilowatt hour you buy, you pay a certain price. And you'll see over on the left, it runs between usually 14 and 16 cents per kilowatt hour. And then the other part of our bill is the customer charge, which covers our administrative expenses, and it's the a regular charge, the same amount every month. So we're looking just at the kilowatt hour price. This is what the actual kilowatt hour price has been since 2014 in blue. And in red, you can see the per kilowatt hour charge adjusted for inflation. So you can see that the current rates that we have now, we are bringing in less real dollars compared with 2014 than we were in 2014, even though rates have gone up. And I bring this up not because we don't all have this problem. Everyone has the problem that prices are going up. It's hard to pay all of our bills. But I just wanted to emphasize for everyone that the light plant has this problem too, that we need to be able to maintain our current levels of service, and doing so with less is a challenge that we face, just like everybody else when they're trying to pay their bills. And this is the second part of our charge, which is the customer charge, which was $6 in 2014 and has gone up to $12.50 today. And you can see there also the blue is the customer charge and red is the customer charge adjusted for inflation. And it does look like a big increase. However, okay, Brianna, you can switch again. Now you can see that the customer charge is actually a very, very small amount of the average bill. So what we're looking at here is a sample bill for September of 2014 for a house with, say, a 750 kilowatt hour consumption, which is a pretty small house. That might be fairly small for Hingham. And you can see which part of the bill is the customer charge and which part of the bill is the per kilowatt hour charge. This is what it looks like just, dollar for dollar over time. And then here is that same bill in orange at the top and the same bill adjusted for inflation. So this has both pieces of the bill in it, the kilowatt hour price and the customer charge. So that is where we are in terms of collecting the funds, and we do need to keep up with inflation along with the challenges of meeting our resilience requirements and setting our system up for the future so that we're not so vulnerable to natural disasters and we have the reliable transmission that we need. So you might want to know, how do we compare with other, first of all, other municipal light plants, and then also utilities that are owned by investors. Over on the left, you can see Eversource and National Grid. Those are electric rates. This is for September 2024. Same size house, 750 kilowatts. And then in blue, of course, is Hingham. And the orange part at the top of the bar represents the rate increase that's coming in 2025. So you see our peers, Wellesley's pretty cheap, Concord and Belmont are pretty expensive, and we tend to fall sort of right in the middle of the pack. So you might wonder now, well, okay, how can I lower my electric bill? Yes, the rates are going up, but there are things that you can do to lower your electric bill. We have a number of rebate programs that you can find on our website, and the rebates are for technologies that in general will make your house more efficient and allow you to use less electricity, which will bring down your cost over time. You can see the list of appliances there, as well as the no-cost home energy assessments, which you can have people come in and tell you exactly what you need to do in order to make your house more efficient. And you can sign up for that on the Light Plant's website. I have mentioned the income adjusted rate already and kind of explained that. And then finally, we have some bill payment discounts, both for early pay and also for auto pay, approximately 10%. So those are some ways that you can lower your electric bill right now. And we have a new and exciting way to lower your electric bill. We have just put into place a demand response program. A demand response program is where the Light Plant wants to send market signals to customers, making it to be in customers' interest to lower their consumption of electricity during our peak hours, which is when our energy is more expensive. And the way it works is a customer will enroll a Wi-Fi enabled device in the program, and the customer receives a monthly credit. In exchange for the credit, the customer agrees to allow the Light Plant to lower the electricity usage of that device a certain number of times per year during the peak hours. And the result is savings for ratepayers as a whole and for the customer, because the utility savings from not buying that expensive electricity during the peak will be greater than the cost of the rebates. So all customers will save, and the Light Plants will save, and the individual customers will save. So this is what we were able to do in lieu of having a time of use rate right now, is we can offer customers an opportunity to save on their bill by signing up these devices and allowing us to buy less energy at peak times. So that is the end of our presentation, and we're hoping that if you have questions or comments, that we would like to hear them. I think you can probably just close that, Brianna, so we can see people on Zoom, and ask if there are questions or comments. You could stick your little hand up if you know how to do that, or you turn your camera on and wave at us. Either way.
Well, I'll just say hi. This is Patty Coyle, 3 Accord Lane.
Hi, Patty.
I'm here to tell you, I was interested in what y'all had to say, but I am here to tell you that my upgraded heating system that includes heat pumps will go live tomorrow.
Very exciting.
Kind of. I've got these really big things.
Yeah.
Outside my house.
Well, that's great news. We like to sell electricity, so that's excellent news. Thank you.
I'm doing my part.
Great. Any other comments or thoughts? Yes, Mr. Borger.
John Borger, 53 Lafayette Avenue. I just want to register that I am really proud to be in a town where we are making real efforts to take care of people who may not be as well off as the median person in town. And I think the income adjusted rate is terrific, and I congratulate the board for doing that. And I think together with the town's initiative on property taxes, again, income adjusted, I think that it means that Hingham is kind of a caring place that's really making a good faith effort to ensure that people on fixed incomes who may have lived in this town for many years can continue to stay here and make it viable. So thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments or thoughts to be shared? Well, seeing none, I will thank you all for being here for our presentation. We really appreciate it. And we have a couple of more items on our agenda then. The first is just a brief report on where we are with our plan to do a study for our sustainability plans for the short term. Do you want to fill the board in, Tom?
Sure. So we had talked about a sustainability plan a number of times, and at the last board meeting, the board had asked us to look at what that would look like over 5 years. So we did meet. We decided we would have an additional discussion with Sagewell, who was the vendor that gave us a proposal to write a sustainability plan for us. And what really triggered my interest there was he has been successful in getting a number of grants for a number of his customers. So our feeling was that it would be worth having him come to the next board meeting.
Grants to do the study?
To do the study and maybe to help us.
And do the stuff?
And do the stuff, yeah.
Wow, that would be great.
So we thought it'd be worthwhile to have him come in at the next board meeting. I'm sorry, it's the Spiegler Group, not the, what did they say?
Sagewell.
Sagewell, I'm sorry, Spiegler Group, I'm sorry. So we thought it would be worthwhile to have him come in and do a presentation for the board at the next board meeting.
Excellent. Great. Okay, wonderful. Unless there's any further discussion about that or comments from the public or questions on our proposed study on 5-year sustainability, seeing none, we'll move on to approving meeting minutes of November 14th. Does anybody have any changes that they would like to see made?
I had two small ones. One, my name is spelt wrong at the first mention, not a biggie. And second, the attorney, I don't think is the board's attorney. I think it's the light plant's attorney.
Correct.
I'll make those corrections.
Thanks, Tom.
And I had just one correction I wanted to make. Under the transmission line project update, where is it? Yes, this paragraph, the second paragraph, last sentence says we anticipate addressing town meetings about the project, not in the upcoming year, but the following year, 2026. I think that was meant to be town meeting, capital T, capital M. I think that's what we were talking about then. So if we could just change that to town meeting, capital T, capital M, that would be great. Any other? Oh, okay.
Again, another thorough set of minutes.
Yes, excellent.
Thank you.
Really excellent set of minutes. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the meeting of November 14th.
So moved.
Second?
We're in person, so we could do it all at once. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wow, that's the first time we've ever done that. It's amazing. Thank you. And then we're down to financials for October 2024.
Yeah, so
Do you have the financials that you can put up on the screen or not?
I think I have.
Oh, did we?
Oh, then I can pull them up. Just give me 1 second. One more second. Oh, wait, I do not.
Oh, well. Okay, so speak clearly and slowly so that people,
So looking at the year-to-date, October 24, our net income was $418,000. Really, in line with where we thought we were going to be. More importantly, we're still in line with the 5%, on that, 8%, I'm sorry, 8% that we can make. So we're still in line with that for the end of the year, and as long as November and December come in where we think they will be, we'll be in good shape for the 8% for 2024. So again, our net income for the year-to-date is $406 million. $4.6 million.
Okay, great.
So financially, we're doing really well.
Excellent news. Any questions, comments? Questions or comments from the public on our financial situation? Okay, seeing none, we're up to our update section, updates on the transmission line project.
At the transmission line, we continue to meet, not as regularly as we were prior to the filing. We've met a couple of times to talk about the website and making some changes to the website to ensure that we're in line with what we expect the siting board will be looking for. In talking to Rob Shapiro, our lawyer for this project, he was thinking we wouldn't hear from the siting board until sometime in April, May. But I guess conversations he's had with the siting board, he's thinking now that it could be as early as February that we hear from them as far as when we would start having public hearings.
Is what we would hear is what the timeline is for the public meetings we're going to have?
He believes that we'll hear what the timeline will be sometime in February. So, and those meetings could be as early as the end of February, March.
Okay, well, that will be something important to get the word out to the community.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. So, he didn't say it was going to be any shorter as the timeline goes, but he said the siting board, he believes, will be looking at, I guess there's a new hearing officer that will be handling this case. So, yeah, I guess his caseload probably isn't as large as some of the others on the siting boards. Municipal solar, Laura, do you want to?
Yeah, so we're proceeding with conversation with the town about solar on municipal buildings. Nothing concrete to report right now, just conversations. One of the things we are considering proposing that the solar task force is, and if so, we'll come to the board to get your feeling about it, is that we may wish to request at town meeting funding from unassigned fund balance to do a study on the condition of the roofs. Because one of the things that's holding us up, we have a wonderful tool that Brianna made that tells us exactly what the payback time would be on every roof in town if we put solar on it, but the condition of the roofs is, in most cases, is just a black hole. We have no idea, and so you can't make a plan or a schedule and say, okay, we'll do this one first and we'll do that one next, unless you solve that problem. And we've waited for a while because it seemed like the town was possibly going to do that, but it hasn't happened. So that's something that we're considering, but I'm setting up meetings. Hopefully, I'm trying to set up meetings with members of the select board individually to talk that over with them and see if there's any appetite for that. I can't promise there will be, but I'm going to ask anyway. And we have a new member who is Heidi Rigoni, is a business owner here in Hingham. She owns a commercial building, and she is working with us to take on the task of promoting the PACE program to the commercial building owners in town. And she's met with a couple people and trying to, find some people who would like to try this program out and take advantage of the financial benefits that come from signing up with the state's PACE program and having favorable financing for all kinds of energy improvements, including solar. So she's digging right in, and so that's really great to have her on the team. And I think that's where we are right now.
All right, capital projects, Circuit 9, reconductoring of Circuit 9. Saturday, we actually pulled in the last section of wire there, so our overhead reconductoring on that project will be coming to an end towards the end of the year. We may spill into next year slightly, but the majority of that work will be completed by the end of this year. Right now, we're still waiting on a permit from the MBTA for a transmission line to replace the insulators on the transmission line. So until we get that permit from the MBTA, we can't go to bid on that project. So we're hoping to get that project started this fall. I'm sorry, this spring.
Haven't we been kind of waiting for that permit for a long time?
Hey, welcome to the T, yeah.
Yeah.
Insulators we were waiting for as well, or just the permit?
We have
We have
all
the
the equipment,
insulators.
yeah, we have the insulators, we have all the equipment, but we cannot go out to bid until we get the permit from the T, because we don't know what the requirements of that permit will be. So, we continue to reach out to them, but,
Welcome to the T, like you said.
yeah,
We have a new guy.
I think
He's
he's
probably
busy with
not
other
answering the
things.
phone.
Demand response program, we have the demand response program, it's going
Up and
pretty
running.
well. I think was this the quarter where they got payments,
This past month, we applied all the payments for the first round of customers. It was just under 100, I believe, devices that received payments. The largest one was about $40. So that was the largest quarterly payment we've made so far.
So ultimately, I'm expecting that from Connected Homes, we'll have like a balance sheet that says you've spent this much on rebates and you've saved this much on power, but that's going to be a while coming probably, right?
yeah, they had talked about that, I think.
Yes, that's something new that they're working on now. Zoe, the program manager, is trying to get that for us. They also said that they could come on a board meeting to discuss how they engage with the manufacturers, if that's something that we want on an upcoming meeting. But for now, we don't have that valuation sheet yet. We haven't
Yeah.
gotten that. They did just bring on a new team member that they've hired to focus on that with a lot more time.
That's good, because we do have to have that information to know that we're making,
Right
the right decision in
Yeah.
terms of saving money over time. So whenever they're ready with that, I'd like to see that. But we probably don't need to keep it on the
Take it
update
off.
list anymore. I think we're in good shape. Any comments or questions on any of the updates from the board?
I have one. Have you looked at, is it possible for Derby Street to install solar there? Is that route suitable?
So we have made attempts to reach out, and as you can imagine, it's a very large development corporation that has, many malls. And so trying to find the right end, but they're on our list. And yeah, we are kind of poking away at that, but we haven't gotten anywhere yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we could find the right corporate contact, if we wouldn't be able to get going somewhere there. But that's definitely happening on our list. Any comments or questions from the public about any of the updates? Okay, hearing none, I think we've come to the end of our agenda for today, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for joining us.